Welcome back to Heal and Create Your Reality TV. This is Susan. I wanted to thank you all for everything you guys do. For those of you that watch the videos, who are my subscribers, followers, the likes, the shares, it really means a lot to me that you're here. And I wanted to thank you for that, for your presence, for your energy. And so I'm being called. Well, it's not that I'm being called. I've been thinking about it because I speak on the secret societies, specific the Masons and the Eastern Stars, because that's the ones that I'm aware of that came up against me, right? It's actually God, not me. But you get what I'm saying. And so, because a couple months ago, I think it was July, I went ahead and I said that these people were all going to get sick. And that they do, like, they harvest energy through, like, sex rituals. You know, when they do this orgies, nasty stuff, right? And that I know what they do to children. I spoke about that. And so I wanted to touch base on that because, again, when I speak on these things, I pass no judgment on anybody that's part of any type of groups. I understand that, you know, there is polarity. For everything good, there's something bad. And, you know, we have free will. So I'm not here to pass judgment, but I do have to expose certain things. And, you know, the people that, the organizations that came up against me, they're not so, they're diabolical, right? And so today I wanted to speak on how these organizations promise enlightenment, right? They promise that you're going to awaken, that you're going to have spiritual gifts, that you're going to be able to have power beyond this realm, right? And so what they don't tell you is that when you sign up for these groups and you go ahead and you become an initiate for them, and basically you're controlled by other people because there's hierarchy, right? There's different levels to that type of situation where ranks, right? There's ranks. That's what that's what I wanted to say. There's ranks, right? So you have to have permission to do certain things. You literally are giving up your mind. And so nobody thinks about that. Nobody thinks about what that implies, right? And so I speak on selling your soul. Like, a lot of the people that I have had experiences with, they've sold their soul. And so when I speak on selling your soul or losing your soul, it doesn't have to necessarily be you going ahead and practicing dark magic for you to do that, for that to get done. I wanted to speak on that because we lose our souls when we go ahead and we go against our conscience, against what's right and wrong, right? We don't think about it like that. You hear people speaking on, oh, they sold their soul, they're doing this, they're practicing that, and whatever. And so then again, also, I really don't pass judgment on anything. Like, I don't pass judgment. So, like, when it comes to spiritual gifts, specifically spiritual gifts, I don't pass judgment because I know people who use their gifts for good. And then there's the diabolical ones who are part of these secret societies. And then there's the initiates who like to play God. So let's move on. That took me, it took me somewhere, but we're gonna move on, and we're not gonna stop the video. We're just gonna keep going because what I have to say is important. So we don't see how we go ahead and we lose our conscience or sell our souls by going against our consciousness, going against what's right and wrong, right? And so when I say this, it's not something out of this world. Like, oh my God, you sold your soul. No, and it doesn't have to be only in the Hollywood stuff where people are doing diabolicalness up in there, right? And we're not gonna get into that. And it doesn't even have to be just specific to secret societies. In humanity as a whole, we can see how some people end up selling their souls without even realizing it sometimes. It's just basically going against what you know is right. Right? And so, and that doesn't mean that we're perfect, but we all know when something's right and when something's wrong. And this sounds cliche, it sounds naive, it sounds like, what is she talking about? Like, everybody knows right and wrong, right? But I'll give you examples. I share things on like people gang stalking, people setting people up to be committed to mental hospitals, or manipulating their free will through dark magic, or creating situations for them to feel hopeless, right? And that leads to having meltdowns and then maybe acting out of character. And then that'll be the opportunity for somebody to try to bring you into a psych ward or something like that, right? So when we participate in things like that, that we know is wrong, right? Like, it's wrong to gang stalk. Even like something as simple as like gossiping, creating false narratives, things like little things like that we don't seem to find something like big about it. It's not like, oh my God, you've murdered someone or something like that, but it can be, and it is detrimental to certain people depending on their emotional state, right? And I speak on this because I also share about like not all money is good money. We all need money. We all have necessities, things that we need in order to survive, right? We all have that. We all have needs. But what we do to get it, if it goes to the point of like you're harming somebody, whether you're doing it intentionally or you're just maneuvering around, even just not doing something about it, like something is going on, but you're choosing to not be a part of it, to not intercede, even if that's just with a prayer, right? Sometimes we can't physically intercede for other people, but we can send up a prayer and tell God about it, right? That's a form of you helping out, even if you don't tell the person that you did it. It's like when you go and feed the homeless. You don't have to go out here and, take pictures and tell everybody, oh my God, I fed the homeless, or I gave the homeless this. But you doing it helped. It didn't solve all their issues, but it helped, right? The same thing with a prayer. And so when I speak on selling our souls, we do that every time we neglect what's right. Every time we turn a blind eye to situations, every time we choose to not do what is right when we know what's wrong. And I don't say this because I'm perfect or anything like that, because I make mistakes myself, right? And I've made mistakes myself, and I continue to make mistakes, and I grow from them. But I wanted to bring that out. And this wasn't the whole message. The message was about specifically these secret societies, how they're fooling people. I'm going to come back with part 2 for